trust in me. I never knew what a real friend was until I met Andre, when my parents tragically passed away and I had to live with my grandmother. I lost a lot of friends, and no longer had money, which led to me losing friends. I was now the last one to be picked in teams, and people made fun of me because of the way my grandma dressed me. She was a gentle soul, but did her best with the pension she had. Andre's role in my life was that he invited me to hang out with his friends and would often share his food with me. I never forgot that even after he moved away months later. When I was 22 years old and living in the city, I bumped into him while taking an evening walk. He did not look like he was doing that well and tried to play it off as nothing. I did not want to burden you with my problems, he insisted. You were kind to me those years ago, so it would not be a burden, I insisted. No, I am fine, he laughed it off, but he did not look like he had been sleeping well for several days. I gave him my number and told him to call me. I was so happy to finally meet him again and curious about what was going on in his life. So we got to talking on the phone and he told me that he had run into some trouble at work. They had to let many people go, so now he was searching for a job, but he was very stressed. He was also a bit behind on the rent. I could not let my dearest friend go through that when I had a spare room in my apartment. I convinced him to stay with me while he figured out a plan. There was so much to catch up on, and in between finding him another job, we bonded. One day when we were watching a movie together, a scary part came on and he buried his head in my chest. Andre? I asked. Oh no, sorry Gavin, he apologized and got up to leave. I did not know that you were scared. Let me change the movie, or better yet, let us play video games, I suggested. With those small things, I learned more about him and discovered that he liked physical affection a lot. He tended to overthink and get anxiety attacks often, so I would hug him most of the time. It was normal for us to hold hands or spoon. And then we would also kiss each other's cheeks. This started on the day that he had to go to his interview with the company that wanted to give him a job. Good luck, I kissed him on the cheek. Why did you do that? Is there something you're not telling me? He asked. No, it's a habit. My grandma kissed my cheek before I had to go to school. I just found myself doing that. I will not do it again. I'm straight, I blushed. It's fine. I mean, girls do it, so why should it be weird for two straight guys to kiss each other on the cheeks? He asked. And so then we added innocent kissing to things that we only did with each other. He got his job, and within a month he had moved out, even though I insisted he stay. He was still at my house 24/7 after moving out, and we went for drinks occasionally. About 2 months after he left, I met a girl while out for drinks. I saw her drinking alone and looking sad by the bar, and I hated that such a beautiful girl was looking sad. One thing my grandma taught me was to care for other people. Hey, I said to her. Leave me alone, I'm not interested in dancing, she said. I just wanted to ask if you're okay. I do not like dancing either, except in my living room, but that's just dreadful. My comment made her crack a small smile. Let me guess, relationship problems? I asked. How did you know? Her eyes widened. The #1 reason for drinking alone while looking sad, and I used to be bartender, so I've seen that expression before, I said. Pity you're not a hitman, she laughed. That bad? Well, I found him in bed with the girl he said was his cousin, and it's not the first time, she revealed. We talked about her ex for a while, and then we switched to better topics. She was funny, talkative, and a nurse, which explained the motherly vibes I got off her from the way she was taking care of her drunk friends. I gave her my number, but she did not text me. I had almost forgotten about her when she asked me out to dinner about 2 weeks later. It was just as friends, so I decided to go, but Andre encouraged me to make an effort, as it had been a while since my last girlfriend. Could say the same about you, I shot back. Oh, like I would like to have my kitchen trashed again, he referenced his crazy ex. I was no stranger to girls with drama. Dinner with her went well, but I was mostly following our lead. We started dating a few months after getting to know each other. I would not say that I was falling in love with her, but I cared deeply about her. She was a good person, who did so much for the other people in their life, and I wanted to make her happy. Everything was going blissfully until she started to act strange. Why are you always with Andre? She asked one day. He's my best friend, babe, I sighed. I would just appreciate it if you made some time for me. She looked sad when she said that, but I understood that she was always tired from work and needed some alone time with me. Therefore, I prioritized her over him. The biggest fight happened after my birthday party. Can you not be so touchy with Andre? She asked. Neff, it's just harmless cuddling, I laughed. I'm your girlfriend. I should be the only one that spoons you, she retorted. Babe, he is just a friend, I said. And I do not like how you kiss each other's cheeks, she added. You're being a bit touchy. Calm down. Tension was rising between us. Okay, I'm sorry. I get that you want to be friends with him, but it feels very disrespectful to me as your girlfriend when you do stuff like that. Look, my ex messed me up. It would just put my mind at ease. I have nothing against your friend. He is wonderful, she said. She was right. She respected him and allowed us to have our own time, so I told my friend that my girlfriend did not like that we were so affectionate. Of course, I understand, man. The last thing I want is to ruin your relationship, he said. So the affection ceased, but I missed it. I liked being with him more than her, but I did not want to hurt her. The person I woke up wanting to talk to in the morning was always Andre, and never Neff. While I got along with Neff on an intellectual level, her hugs were not as warm as his. She tried her hardest to take care of me, as my apartment was always messy, and in turn, I would run errands for her when she was at work. As for intimacy, which I always had a problem with, it was so dull and passionless. Maybe you should go to a sex therapist, Andre suggested. No, everything's fine with me, it's just that I do not find it as interesting, I said. Do you love her? He came close to me and looked me dead in the eye. I felt so vulnerable under his intense stare. I do, she is caring, kind, and intelligent, I started. I reached for him and brought him in for a hug. It felt so nice and secure in his arms, and I did not want to let go. We pulled away and leaned so close to each other that we were breathing in the same air. I wanted to kiss him, but where were those thoughts coming from? Just then I heard my door open and she entered. I quickly jumped away from him and locked eyes with her. She looked at me sadly and then made her way to the kitchen. I excused myself and went after her. You did not tell me that you were coming over today, I said. Oh, sorry, I should probably leave. It seems like a boys' night. She took her bag. No, you look like you've had quite the day. Are you okay? I asked. She did not give me a response. I went over to Andre and asked him to leave because I wanted to take care of her. She looked so pale and kept on blanking and could not tell me anything, so we just cuddled for the rest of the night until she fell asleep. I heard her phone going off, so I went to her bag to check who was calling her, but when I tried to answer it, the person had already hung up. But something in there caught my eye. It was a positive pregnancy test. I was freaked out because I was not ready to be a father yet. My actions were cowardly, but I put it back in her bag and lay back down next to her. And how could I be a father? Not when I was confused about my feelings for both her and Andre. She went back home and we did not speak for a few days. I got impatient waiting for her to tell me the truth. I went to Andre's apartment after that and I could not help tackling him and starting to cry. I was not ready to be a father, but neither could I just leave her like that. I did not tell him. He just cuddled me and played with my hair. You never keep things from me, he suddenly said. What are you talking about? We nearly kissed. Are we going to ignore that? He said. I suddenly sat up, confronted by how serious the whole thing is. I'm with Neff. Do you love her? He asked. I care about her, I said. What about us? What about what I feel when I'm with you? His eyes filled with tears. Do not make me say things I don't want to say, I sighed. Why? He asked, but I remained silent. Why do you stay with her? Why do you hide from me? He touched my cheek and leaned in. Before his lips came closer to mine, I said, Neff is pregnant with my child. I cannot do this. He let me go as if my skin was made of electricity. Congratulations, he smiled, but it did not reach his eyes. Andre, I started. She's a good person and would make a great mother. I have to go to work in a bit, so can we talk later on? He asked. Sure. I left with a heart that wondered what could have been. She was withdrawing from me and had not told me about her pregnancy. I thought of confronting her. Just then, my phone rang. Andre's in the hospital, please hurry. Then she hung up. I immediately drove over to the hospital and I met with her at the front. I rushed to the room she pointed me in, where I saw him bandaged up. There was a doctor checking up on him. What happened? I asked. A fire, she said. My goodness, Andre, what happened? I'm so sorry. I tried to make my way to him, but the doctor stopped me. Dear, Andre's in the next room. You're his friend, right? She asked. I ran to the next room and found him, sitting in the bed with no bandages, except on his hand. What happened? I asked. Accident at work. The bottom line is I no longer have a pinky, he said. He worked as a foreman at a construction company. I took his hand and brought it to my lips and started kissing it. You had me so worried. Oh, my Andre. It was just a mistake, and it's just a finger. I can manage without it. Oh, hi, Neff. I turned around and saw her standing there with a weird expression on her face. I felt Andre and ran to her. Neff, are you okay? We have to break up, she suddenly said. Should you guys be having this conversation with me here? Andre asked. It involves you. Look, I used to be blind, but I can see that there is something between you, she started. Neff, but she stopped me from talking. You've been respectful, but you cannot hide your feelings for each other. One day, I hope I can find someone who looks at me that way, she said, turning to leave. But what about our baby, Neff? I asked. It's not yours. We've been together for 2.5 months, and I'm over 3 months pregnant. I wanted to get rid of it without telling you, and no, it has nothing to do with you, because I knew you would still have supported me. I did not want a part of him with me, but I changed my mind, she said. Then she finally left. I was still not convinced and got a DNA test done, which confirmed that she was telling the truth. I guess I had kind of entertained the idea of being a father. I kept in touch with her and was her support system during her pregnancy. And when she gave birth, she told me and Andre that I think I have found the one person who will love me with all his heart, while smiling down on her son. She healed in the end and took care of her son, giving him all her love. As for me and Andre, the first thing that happened was that I babied him for weeks. I would go out of my way to cook for him and take care of him, even though just as Pinky was hurt. Despite his protests, all I wanted was to make sure that he was okay. We did end up resolving things between us that had turned sour when I told him about Neff's pregnancy. Please do not be sorry. I was about to do something that we would have both regretted. Neff did not deserve to be cheated on after her ex, he said. What are you about to do? I asked, even though I knew the answer. A sin, he smirked. Is it still a sin? I leaned in closer to him. He had only to shake his head before I brought my lips to his. It was something that I had been wondering about for a while. We pulled away a second later, and I could have sworn that our sheepish grins were matching. You look like you've just had your first kiss, he teased. And you look like you've won the lottery, I retorted. I do not know, I've had better. Then he burst out laughing when he saw the look on my face. Of course I'm just pulling your leg. We were still shy after that first kiss. Me because I did not know what it would mean. I had never been in a relationship with a guy before. I have to go. There's a delivery at home. I made a lame excuse. I was just struggling to gather my thoughts. A delivery of... bananas, I said. The first thing that came to my mind. Gee, I also have to think about us. I understand. See you soon, he said. Thanks. I turned to leave. Enjoy the bananas, he shouted after me. I turned around and kissed him again to make sure that I was feeling was real. We'll do so. That night, we talked until early in the morning. I could not help smiling into my phone like a fool, or the deep yearning I felt for him. There was no definition of a relationship talk. We just started to kiss more and more when we saw each other, and to call each other endearing names. Then our friends picked up that something was going on and we did not deny it. Neff was very supportive of us and made us her baby's godfathers. As for us, we had a sweet relationship that was built mainly on friendship. We were so comfortable with each other, which is why we moved back in together a few months into our relationship. Wow, I cannot believe I'm back, he said. I think this is the best day of my life. I wrapped my hands around him and kissed him. Wow, you're making it hard for me to think of something that will beat this, he said. A holiday to the Bahamas would be perfect, I suggested. I have a better idea, and it involves every room in your apartment, he said. Wow, so adventurous, I giggled as he raised me into the kitchen counter. After getting with him, I drastically improved in passion. So, all along, I had just been looking for love in the wrong places. But now, I had found it. The end. These two are so cute, and it's a good thing that no one ended up getting hurt in this. You can also donate to us on Ko-fi to support our channel, link in the description. Thanks for watching, consider subscribing to become part of our Rainbow Force, and stay wholesome.